Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at something that's been in the news quite a bit recently, the decline of insect populations globally.
Yeah.
And we've got a bunch of research and articles here, and one thing that's really jumping out at me is the role of AI in this whole thing.
Yeah, it's really fascinating how technology is kind of stepping up to help us understand this problem,
Yeah.
Traditional ways of monitoring insects are so time-consuming and honestly pretty difficult.
Yeah, like trying to keep tabs on, I don't know, a tiny little beetle or something across like hundreds of acres.
Exactly.
Sounds impossible without some help.
Yeah, you need some serious tech.
So before we get into like the AI aspect of things,
Yeah.
can you maybe kind of give us a sense of just how serious this decline is? Like, what are the actual consequences of this?
Sure. I think a lot of people have probably noticed this themselves. If you think about, driving down the road, even a few years ago, your windshield would be covered in bugs.
Right.
And now you're seeing fewer and fewer of those splats.
Yeah, sure.
And that's a pretty good indicator. Scientists actually use that as a casual measure of insect populations.
Oh, interesting.
And it's becoming clear that the consequences are pretty big. I mean, insects are, responsible for pollination. That's directly tied to our food supply.
Right, of course.
And they're also a huge part of the food chain for all sorts of animals, like birds, reptiles, all sorts of things.
So it's not just about the bugs themselves.
No, it's like this ripple effect.
Yeah, it impacts the whole ecosystem.
Yeah.
And from what I'm seeing here, it sounds like AI is really starting to come in and provide a level of analysis that we as humans just couldn't do on our own.
Absolutely. There's this really cool project called Antenna.
Okay.
It's being developed by researchers at the Montreal Insectarium.
Yeah.
And they've actually created these AI-powered cameras that can identify and count moths automatically.
Wow.
And one station can observe millions of insects in a single season. Millions. It's unbelievable.
I mean, that's mind-blowing.
It is.
I can't even imagine trying to count that many insects manually. But it's not just about the volume of data, right?
No. AI is also helping us to uncover what we call dark diversity.
Bark diversity. I haven't heard that term.
So that's all those species that are out there but haven't been officially identified by scientists.
Oh, I see.
It's like the undiscovered country of insects.
Wow.
And in Panama, the Antenna Project actually helped researchers discover over 300 new moth species.
Ray.
In a rainforest that was thought to be well studied.
300 new moth species.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It really makes you wonder how much we're still missing.
Exactly. It's humbling.
So I've got these AI-powered cameras revealing new species, but what other kind of applications are out there? What else is AI being used for?
Well, there's this device called BGI,
Okay.
and it uses AI to identify mosquito species.
In the field.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's a game changer for controlling the spread of diseases.
Right.
Like in places where mosquito-borne illnesses are a big problem.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It seems like the real power of AI here is its ability to go through these huge amounts of data and find patterns.
Exactly.
Like things that would take us humans years and years to figure out.
Yeah. AI can do it in a fraction of the time. And it's not just identifying individual insects.
No.
They're also using AI to analyze images from drones and satellites.
Oh, wow.
To map habitats, model populations, and even detect things like poaching or habitat destruction.
So it's kind of like giving conservationists a whole new way to see the world.
Absolutely. It's like having a superpower.
That's amazing.
Yeah, AI is really emerging as this powerful tool to understand insects
Right.
and ultimately help us protect them.
This is all incredibly promising stuff.
It really is.
And we're going to dive even deeper into the world of AI and insect conservation after a quick...
Oh, wait, before we move on, there's one more really fascinating application of AI.
Oh, okay. What's that?
It's using AI to optimize pesticide use.
Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive.
So how did that work?
Well, the idea is that AI can analyze data on pest populations, weather patterns, crop growth, all that stuff, and then figure out the absolute minimum amount of pesticide you need
Oh, I see.
and the best time to apply it.
So it's about being really precise
Exactly.
and minimizing the impact.
Yeah, on the environment
Yeah,
and on human health.
that's really cool.
Yeah, it's a really promising example of how AI can help us find a more sustainable balance, with the natural world.
This is fascinating stuff.
It is.
It's amazing to see how AI is being used not just to monitor insect decline, but also to come up with actual solutions.
Yeah, it's very hopeful.
We've covered a lot of ground already, but there's still so much more to explore.
Definitely.
We'll be back after a short rotunda. Wait. No. No breaks on this deep dive. Let's keep this fascinating conversation going. right into the final part.
Sounds good to me. Yeah, it really is remarkable how technology is changing the way we even think about conservation.
Yeah, it's like a whole new era for understanding insects, you know.
It's kind of funny we started talking about, bugs on the windshield,
Right.
like a simple observation, and now
Yeah.
we're talking about algorithms and satellite imagery.
It just shows how everything's connected.
Mm.
Even the mundane stuff can lead to these really advanced technologies.
Exactly.
Speaking of technology, though, I am curious about, like, what are the limitations here?
Oh, yeah.
Because no technology is perfect, right?
Right. That's a good point.
It's easy to get excited about all the cool stuff AI can do,
Yeah.
but, we got to look at both sides.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one of the big things to remember is AI is only as good as the data you feed it.
Right.
So if the data is biased or incomplete, the AI is going to spit out bad results.
Yeah, garbage in, garbage out, right?
Exactly. Even with AI, it all comes back to the quality of the information.
And we also have to think about the computational power
Right. Oh, yeah.
to run these complex models.
That's a good point.
Not every researcher has access to those kind of resources, especially in developing countries or smaller organizations.
That's true.
And of course, there's always the question of unintended consequences.
Right.
We have to be really careful about how AI is developed and used.
Yeah, make sure it's actually helping.
It's not enough to just have the technology. We got to use it responsibly.
Absolutely. Ethical considerations are so important.
Yeah, for sure. So I kind of want to shift gears a little bit
Okay.
and talk about what we as individuals can do.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking about these big picture solutions with AI.
Right.
But what about actions that people can take in their own lives to help with this insect decline?
That's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. Even small actions can make a big difference.
So what are some things that people can do?
Well, one of the easiest things is to create insect-friendly habitats in your own yard.
Oh, okay.
Like plant some native flowers,
Yeah.
provide a water source, and avoid using pesticides.
So basically turn your yard into a little oasis for insects.
Exactly.
I love that.
It's a simple but effective way to help. Another thing you can do is support organizations that are working on insect conservation.
Okay.
There are so many great groups out there doing really important work.
Great. Donations, volunteering, spreading awareness,
Yeah, all of that helps.
and of course just educating ourselves about insects.
Oh, that's huge.
Learning why they're so important.
The more we understand them, the more we're likely to care about protecting them.
Knowledge is power, right?
Exactly. Knowledge is the foundation for informed action.
Well said. I'm actually feeling inspired to make my own backyard more insect friendly
I love that.
and maybe even learn a little more about identifying different species.
That's great.
It's really those individual actions that can add up and make a big difference.
Absolutely. And AI can help us to amplify those efforts.
Yeah, it's really cool to see how it all comes together.
It's exciting to think about the possibilities.
This deep dive has been so eye-opening.
Yeah, it's been great.
And we're not done yet.
We've got one more part to go.
Let's keep this conversation rolling right into the final part.
Sounds good.
It's really inspiring to think about all these individual actions adding up, and making a real difference. But I'm also curious about the bigger picture. Where do you see this whole partnership between AI and conservation going in the future?
Oh, man, the possibilities are just incredible. As AI technology keeps getting better, we can expect even more sophisticated tools for monitoring insects, studying them, and protecting them.
Yeah, what do you imagine? What kind of tools are we talking about?
I mean, just imagine AI-powered drones that can identify, individual insects in flight.
Wow.
Or tiny little sensors that can track pollinators in real time. Where are they going? What are they doing?
It's like we're on the verge of this whole new understanding of the insect world.
Exactly. And as AI becomes, more accessible and affordable, we can start to empower citizen scientists all over the world to contribute.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah.
Think about a global network of people using AI apps on their phones to track and identify insects in their own backyards.
That would be amazing.
It wouldn't just be scientists in labs anymore. It would be a worldwide movement of people working together to protect these creatures.
This whole conversation has honestly been so eye-opening. I'm walking away with this renewed sense of awe for insects and a sense of hope that we can actually use our ingenuity to protect them.
I feel the same way. If we can harness the power of AI responsibly and, work together, I think we can make a real difference in saving insects and the ecosystems they support.
This has been a truly fascinating deep dive. And before we wrap things up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. If AI can help us track insect populations and understand why they're declining, Could it also help us create environments that are more friendly to insects? What role can you play in supporting these efforts? Something to ponder as we all try to navigate this ever-changing world. Until next time, stay curious.